Okay, this is the neck servo tutorial. Basically, this will allow the head to move from side to side, and yeah, we'll need to swap out some components. But basically, what you need to do is return the neck to this stage. That means just popping off these little things and removing the small screws. Put the screws to one side. You'll need to keep 2 of them, not 4. I'll explain why in a minute. So yeah, you need to take the neck apart. You don't need any of the internals of the neck. So this can go, don't need that. And the little bell end looking thing can go as well. So yeah, you want to return it to this stage. Quite simply, all we need to do is in your kit, you'll have this section here, which is designed and printed, and it mimics this section here, this bottom section. The reason for that is I've designed it so you'll notice there's 2 screw holes in there. That means that in future, if you want to remove the neck or the head, you haven't got to take the whole thing, the whole cage apart. You can just undo these 2 M3 screws that come with the kit. This will come assembled for you. I'm just showing you what that will look like and what it entails. So yeah, the idea behind that is so let's say in a year or so the servo in the neck dies, you won't have to take the whole T800 apart. You can just take these 2 screws out and the whole neck and head will pop off. So what you get is also this, and this is the metal geared servo to control the head left to right. Okay, and it's very simple. The wire goes through underneath. This will come constructed for you, so you don't have to do this. I'm just showing you why I've done it like that. Okay, so rather than being one piece, it's 2 pieces, which then allow us to remove it from the T800 very easily. So it'll come with these screws. They'll already be made up for you, so you'll receive it in one section like this basically. I just wanted to show you the reasoning behind that. So I'll just do that up. They're just M3 Allen key screws. Kit doesn't come with an Allen key. As I said, it will be made up for you if you ever need to remove the neck or the head. You can just undo these 2 screws and the whole thing pops off. Just whack that one in there. Like so. All these parts, if you're interested, were designed in Autodesk Fusion 360, which is an amazing app. I do have some 3D modelling experience, so it was a little easier for me to do. But yeah, all the parts were measured with digital calipers, so they're very precise. Okay, so you've got those 2 screws in there, like that. So what we need to do now is just take this section of the head, or the neck, sorry, and we want to get our servo shaft. And what we do is, it's very simple. The idea behind this is that just goes in there, like that. You want to make sure that this is in line like this. You don't want it like that, because the head doesn't move that way, it moves this way. So you need to line that up, okay? And what that does is it just has a servo horn on there, and that just lines up with this, like that. This must be in line with these edges. When you receive your servos, and actually this is quite important, when you receive your servos, they will have all been set at 90 degrees or their starting angle. So if you manually go and move this now, say turn it, take this off and then pop it back on, this is no longer in the middle. Your middle is going to be like that. So don't move these whilst you're putting it together, okay? If you do happen to move them, it's no big deal, because if you plug the Arduino in, if you plug the whole kit in, sorry, the first command that it does is to center every servo at their starting position. So no big deal, just leave everything plugged in but not constructed, and it will set the servos at the right position. It was just worth pointing that out. Right, so yeah, that goes on there. It doesn't screw in, it doesn't need to because the parts are measured exactly. So what that does is that goes in there, and you'll see the screw hole lines up the opposite side of this one, and this shaft sits in here, and you'll see it turns perfectly. Doesn't ever come loose, doesn't ever pop off because it's measured exactly. And you do the other side, and there's your new neck mechanism. And you can hear the servo, you can hear that they've made contact, so that's perfect. And what we do is we take the two screws, I said you need 2, not 4, and I'll explain why in a sec. So we take one of those, pop that in there. Okay, let's pop that one in there as well. Oops, sorry. That goes in there. Okay. That goes all the way in. Right, you can see that that's attached. Now, the reason we don't put these screws in is because we now have a moving part in there, whereas before, in the stock one, this was a fixed component. It wasn't designed to move left and right. And we can't put a screw in there because then that means the head won't turn. So the solution for that is I've got some really strong, clear, completely clear, kind of like elastic bands, if you like. And they don't show, but it just means that you just pop one round the top, 2 round the top, sorry, and 2 round the bottom, just to keep it nice and tight. And they are very, very tight, which is good. And being clear, you don't see them, and they fit perfectly into the little groove. And you'll see that that doesn't come apart at all. No other way to do that part, simply because if you put the screw in there, the neck will no longer turn. This one's just for extra security. We've got those 2 screws, but it's it's better to be overprotective, I guess. So they'll go in there like that. And they are very tight, they're very snug, and as I said, they're clear, they don't show up, and you've got a component that won't come undone, and you've got nice, smooth motion, and you can hear the servo is definitely binding, which is cool. So what you will need to do then is obviously pop these back on. I didn't ever glue mine in, so it wasn't a problem for me. I just popped them straight out, but maybe some of you did. I'd suggest using a credit card to pop them off, not a screwdriver, just in case you scratch them. I'll just show you lightly, basically. I'm not going to push mine all the way in because I need to take this apart again. But yeah, there's your neck component done. And I showed you in the other video how to bind these 2 together. That just literally goes like that. You have your locking pin that goes down the centre of the head, nice and tight, like that. And there's your head left to right. And when we do the pistons, that will give us the up and down. And you can hear the servo working there. As I said, that is a metal geared servo, it's not a plastic one, so that it can handle the weight. Yeah, so that's nice and strong. But as I said, you know, in a year or so, maybe the servo dies, you know, you won't have to take the whole T800 apart. All you need to do is remove these 2 screws and this whole section will come off, which is really simple. So yeah, nice and simple. And as I said, you don't need that.